3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Welcome into the open where we get technical. You should have investments in long-term growth. Hey guys, welcome to Get Technical. My name is Neal. With me today, as always, is Spencer Israel. Today we have a special guest, Simba Stocks. Follow him on Instagram and on Twitter to get more information from him. Today is a very interesting day. As you know, much of the market is red. It's down. People are acting emotionally. All right? Let your emotions pass through you. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Pound a Red Bull, and don't panic sell. We're going to take a look at our long-term holdings today and determine whether red days like this are times to get out of positions or perhaps buy more. So, guys. A couple very exciting things I want to cover today. I'm going to share my screen right now. While I'm doing this, a stock that I like, DDD, the 3D printing company. Spencer, I'm curious if there's any news on DDD. If you can help.
I think we just lost Neal there. Sorry about that, folks. Neal, are you with us?
Yeah.
Neal, you here?
Just tricked you.
Just tricked me?
Yeah.
Okay. You good?
Yeah. I hit back and it kicked me out.
Oh, don't do that.
Okay. Yeah, I won't do that again. Any news on Triple D?
The person on the stock. Sorry, I was distracted on the stock.
Yeah, on the stock. I need to stop saying Triple D. Because Triple D, that name belongs to Dennis.
I mean, no news, but you know as well as I do. It's been like the trade's been on fire this year. Let me get my screen.
But it's down. It's down.
Yeah,
baby.
but that's how this goes. That's how
it's down like a lot. It's down like even I'm clenching my butt cheeks here.
Wait, can I get my screen off there? There we go.
Your screen. I want my screen.
Yeah, there we go. No, but that's how this goes, though. I mean, look at Triple D. Pull up a daily. It went from 10 to 50 in a month, 5 weeks.
I wanted to keep doing that, Spencer.
That's what we like. That's not how this works. It's not how this works.
All right, Spencer. We'll talk about how trends work in a minute.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, let's really quick, since the market is acting all crazy, let's all take a chill pill together using Bollinger Bands. I'm going to talk a little bit about tools related to moving averages today. I'm going to get into MACD. I'm going to get into VWAP a little bit later in the week, but I want to start off with the absolute basics because, as you know, on this show, we like to keep it as close to just what's happening with the price as possible. Don't get too fancy schmancy with your tools telling me that the XYZ QB45 is doing some crap on the stock, all right? Maybe that works for you super jazzed up day traders that are doing a lot more than the average Joe like me. But what I'm interested in is what's happening with the price, what's happening with the volume, what's going on with the trend, when can I enter, when can I get out, let's make money. So first thing let's look at, I've got ESPO pulled up. ESPO, guys, this one is on the watch list, I think. Once again, the watch list, I actually pinned it onto my Twitter. So I'll pin it each week. You guys can get it there. So let's go full screen on this puppy. So what I've got here is called the Bollinger Band indicator. You can put this on whatever charting tool you have or whatever brokerage you have, unless it's something super basic like Robinhood. But what we've got here is a red line that can be considered the average closing price over a 20-day period. That's what I have it set to. That's what most traders have it set to. So that's what this red line is. And let me get a 1 in chat if y'all can see the red line. I just want to make sure this is visible, high def for you guys.
Yeah, I can't see that red line. I'm not going to lie to you.
I appreciate the honesty. Let's see if we can make that a little bit thicker. Maybe not. So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to go full. Full.
That is tough to see.
0, 0, 0. All right, guys. Well, it's got the dots. See this line? My thing is tracing it. It's tracing it. Oh, you guys. All right. So here's what I'll do. I'll add this. I'll do you guys. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Now it's a gray line. Can you guys see the gray line?
That's easier.
Okay. So all I did was I just added the simple moving average indicator for 20 days. So it's the same line. So I'm using two tools at once so you guys can see it. But Bollinger Bands in a bell curve, guys. Let's look at a bell curve. In a bell curve, you've got a big old hump where your data is where the average of your data points are. So if you were to say, what is the average daily caffeine intake for a Benzinga staffer? You're going to get somewhere in the middle where all the data sort of clusters. This is where the closing prices on our charts are clustering. All right. So over a 20-day period, this is what the line is. This is the most common one. And then you've got standard deviations away from that. 2 standard deviations away are what make up the upper and lower lines. These are 2 standard deviations away. So these are our outliers. Why do we want to see that? Well, when a stock is moving or up through a trend, we want to see what is abnormal. What's an abnormally high spike? What's an abnormally low dip? All right. So what we can see with ESPO is that over this time frame, just this time frame, every time we touched the mean, we bounced back up to the upper line on our Bollinger Band. All right. We kind of went up a little bit, sell, touch the line, back up. All right. So that's a really good tool if you're looking for entry points on a long-term position, which ESPO for me is. So I'm looking at the sell-off that's happening right now. I'm looking at everyone acting weird, giving us a bunch of red candles on the day chart. And I'm saying, looking at this, I'm saying, we still haven't hit the mean yet. We're still looking good. We might be doing something like this where it doesn't touch the mean. And if it touches the mean, baby, and starts to bounce back up, I'm scooping up some more ESPO. All right. So it's all good. And guess what, guys? When it crosses the mean, when it crosses that 20-day moving average, when you're using Bollinger Bands and it touches the lower deviation, it touches the lower line, a lot of people use that as a buy signal. So when you have a buy signal, what are you looking for next? You're looking for an exit price. You have 2 when you're hitting this. So we're looking at this spot right here. If I see the bounce, which I have confirmed with this open here on this green candle, I'm targeting something at the mean. Secondary target, if we cross that mean, I'm targeting that line at the top. So for your long-term positions, consider using a Bollinger Band to keep things in perspective. It expands and contracts along with the volatility of the trade. So if we apply this to something that's getting smoked a little bit, let's take a look. This is ARK K. You guys know I'm an ARK boy. Look at that nice gray line. Look at what happens every time we've been touching that line. A healthy trend is trading above the mean, in between the top line and the mean, as most of the time as possible, as much of the time as possible. You start to have a downward trend when we're crossing through that mean, and then we see it staying on the lower line. There are a lot of other things that go into that in terms of ways that you can confirm that we're in a downward trend. This is just one technical indicator that you should compare to other technical indicators such as RSI, volume, and actual price action, or patterns that might be reversal patterns at the top of a trend. And you should confirm them together. And if they all agree, you achieve what is called confluence. So everyone on this red day, breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth, shotgun a Bang energy drink, and watch the mean. That's what's important here today. All right, so that's ETFs. Let's take a look at QS. Lots of folks talking about QS. Let me get, oh, nice, picked up bets. Jeff picked up bets. Yeah, big shout out. That's another Roundhill investment, I believe, sports betting ETF. So shout out to our friends over at Roundhill Investing, and let us know how that goes, Jeff. Guys, give me a 1 in the chat if you are in QS. Give me a 1. Anyone that's been on Twitter knows that QS is heavily pumped and popular right now. Good job. Someone talked to me on Twitter and said they got in right around here, which I think was great. And I was wondering what their indicator was to get in. But this was just a nice little, this is a bull pennant, which started this off. All right. So I've got a couple things going on here, and I'm going to remove some indicators, and we're going to talk about it piece by piece. Number one, QS rounding bottom. All right. So if you got out, don't be afraid to get back in, because we've got a nice pattern. Not only do we have a nice pattern, we've got volume trending up. We've got RSI trending up. All right. So we've got a rounding bottom. We've got a gap to fill. Mind that gap. We've got a gap to fill, which means that we're looking for a conservative price target of about 84. So from where we are today, that's a 27% gain, folks, closing that gap. All right. That gap, though. Now, the rounding bottom is not a rounding bottom until we actually touch and then break through our point of resistance. This line right here is our point of resistance. Let's go full screen. This line, I'm going to extend it a little bit so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Circle, shut up. This line right here is our point of resistance. Look how nicely it lines up with this previous candle. All right. So we want to see this momentum continue with QS. Aggressive traders will enter right now. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to be aggressive, you're taking on more risk, and you've got to manage it with tight stops, and you got to be watching what you're doing. In fact, I would recommend, if you're going to get in now, don't do anything unless it's near the close. Rookie, I forgot the quote. Spencer is the bookmaster on this kind of stuff, but rookies trade the open and veterans trade the close. So we're looking for like the final 15 minutes before 4 p.m. Eastern to confirm entries. Is that the quote? Did I get that right, Spencer?
I'm honestly not sure. I'm gonna look it up.
All right. So guys, fine to enter now because we got this gap. We love this. We've got this pattern that's about to resolve. All right. So we want to get a close above this resistance line, which will give us, and I'm going to talk about this yellow line in a second. You guys probably noticed this big yellow line. Pros trade the close. Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah, amateurs trade the open.
Amateurs trade them. Okay, amateurs trade the open. Pros trade the close. So what we want to see. Let me get my handy dandy ruler tool here. Is a close above this resistance line, which brings us from the depth of our base added to that resistance line for a price target at 107. All right. So that actual gain is 46. All right. But again, if you're aggressive, you can enter now. This thing looks good because this gap has to close. Everything is in confluence. Let's add a couple other things. When we're talking about this theme of confluence, when we're talking about this theme of, do my various technical indicators or studies, if you're using a brokerage like TD Ameritrade, do they agree? Let's add another one to the mix. We're going to add moving average. And in particular, I'm going to add the 50-day and the 200-day moving average. I'm not seeing the 200-day. 100. It's because the stock is too young. Is this thing broke? Yeah, it's because the stock is too young. We're going to add various moving averages to see where I got this cross from. So the gold moving average, sorry guys, I didn't have this set up. Forget what I'm saying about the yellow line. I put it on the wrong chart. Too young on daily after the 200. Let me go to, let me try 4 hour. Yeah, that's great. I have another example of what I'm trying to illustrate for you is when a short-term moving average crosses above a longer-term moving average. It's an indicator, an early indicator of a change in trend in the stock. In this case, this is a sideways trend that we were looking for an indicator that it's about to pivot into an upward trend. So excuse me for that crap. Let's remove this stuff, go back to the daily. The long and short of this thing is I'm long this stock. I'm looking for this gap. Golden cross is actually what I was looking for on this, not a silver cross, but I could be totally wrong, Pete. Looking to close this gap, looking for an upside of 107. That's QS. All right, let's touch back in on some of our picks from yesterday. Delete that. So we are looking good on FPRX. Is anyone here in FPRX? 5 Prime Therapeutics? Let me know. Luke Jacoby is in the chat. Guys, make sure that you like and subscribe to this if you like the content, if you're liking the trade ideas. But let me know about FPRX. The thing is doing what we want it to do. We've got 2 closes above the breakout point. We've got on a relative scale. So what I have to do is get rid of that selling. We've got an increase in selling volume and the RSI is holding around 70. I think there is some potential for this one. I normally also do not like pharma stuff, but this is a damn cup and handle. It follows a big gap up, and this thing is just so clean. We're still watching the stock, and it is doing exactly what we want it to do. I'm maintaining my stop just below the lowest point on the handle here. All right, that's what my little red line is that I'm sure you can't see, but it's at about $18.80. And as this starts to go up, hopefully in a nice looking trend, I will raise my stop as I go. Let's look at SHIP. Anyone get in on SHIP? This is a good one to talk about. This is a breakout that's hitting support again. Meaning we broke out above our resistance and then people sold, took profit, and now we're trading at the support line once again. What I would be looking for with something with SHIP is an upward trend. An upward trend. Yeah, if you guys this is something that, you know, after a breakout sort of fails and comes back, will it continue? Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does. So I'm still watching SHIP. Why? Because the volume looks good. The volume looks good. And shipping is picking up. I think the fundamentals back it. How long of a hold? If you're talking about time, I don't know. What I'm watching is for price to confirm my thesis, which is based on this rounding bottom, which sort of had I mean, let's face it, this is a failed breakout. Based on this rounding bottom and this upward trend and the volume that's going in, I don't think people are bored with this stock yet. I think there are still traders that want this stock to go up. If anything, I think we got a little bit shook out and that it's still got room to go. Not my favorite, but one to watch. Let's talk oil. Oxy, OXY. We've been talking about this one for a while. Double bottom. My favorite pattern. I'm a double bottom man. And look at it go. We've got this resistance. We've broken through the resistance, and we're on a healthy trend. All right. It might not be the fastest breakout right now, but it can happen. It can certainly happen. I'm going to go ahead and throw on my Bollinger Band. On the theme of moving averages, look at how nicely this thing is staying above, for the most part, the mean. Every time it touches it, back up. Touches it, back up. This is a healthy uptrend, folks. Healthy uptrend. Keep watching Oxy. Azul, A-Z-U-L. Let me know what pattern you see here. I haven't totally drawn it. What is A-Z-U-L doing right now in the daily? Let me know in chat. We can talk about SENS too. Sens. And while you're doing that, I'm going to figure out what Azul is. Okay, it's related to airlines. It's a thing behind the thing. Are you talking about Ethereum, Red? ETH has been hitting all-time highs. We can look at crypto for sure. I want to look at yeah, cup and handle, Kevin. Perfect. So we got our pivot right here on the cup, or the handle rather. Then we've got our very short period downward trend. Let's get more aggressive with this. So still hasn't broken up. Mark. Yep, that's not what we call this. Mark. So what are we looking for? We're looking for a close above the top yellow line. Close above the top yellow line. Talk about a bullish bias. Yeah, man. I am bullish. I am bullish. This is a thing behind airlines. It's going to, what's his name? Fauci says it's going to be open season for everyone. All the folks that don't fulfill the criteria of being a frontline worker, or having, you know, things that qualify them for needing the vaccine right away. Underlying illnesses. Good for you, Jeff. Got a nibble on FPRX. Way to go. Love to hear it. The thing behind the thing is what really rips. All right. So I look at like airlines as a lagging movement on these things behind the things. These are the leading indicators for what's going on with airlines. All right. So we're looking for a close above this little yellow line. We are targeting above the breakout. Oops. $30. Profit potential. I'm just drawing this where I think it's going to break out. About 24%. About 24%, guys. Oh, Azul is a low-budget Brazilian airline. Thank you for the fundamentals, Scott. Looks like it's a holding company. So that might just be one of their portfolio companies. At any rate, potential there. SENS. Yeah. Okay. So I got asked about this one. Someone asked me on Twitter what a good entry is if they bought too high. This is just, once again, a reminder. This is not financial advice. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. But looks like we're holding support, guys. I thought we would come back down to this candle, but we're looking pretty nice, especially on a day like this. SENS is looking like a snack. Let's bring it down to 4 hours, see if we can see a little more action here. Tough to say, tough to time. I don't see anything super clear. Okay, cup and handle, let's go back to it. So a cup and handle is a bullish continuation pattern. Someone in chat asked to explain a cup and handle, and that's what I'm going to do. A cup and handle is a bullish continuation pattern that happens when you have first an upward trend. Number one, must have an upward trend preceding this pattern. And then the trend reverses and trades sideways for a little bit and then starts to come back up. You get this kind of scoopy thing that looks like a lacrosse stick. And then it comes back up all the way to that previous high. All right. That's our resistance line at this point. That's as high as it could get before. And then we blew off some steam, and now buyers are coming back in and they're saying we're gonna try to break through that. Then we can't break through it just yet. And you get a little bit of consolidation down, sometimes just perfectly sideways, but at that resistance line. And so it starts to look like kind of like a cup. Like this. All right. And so what we're looking for is a break above this line, and it's confirmed when we get a closing candle above this resistance line. That's cup and handle. All right. NNDM, still a long-term big fat rounding bottom. We love NNDM. Still watching this. I'm still very bullish on NNDM. Would love it if I could get a 1 in the chat from the folks that are in NNDM. This thing rocks. This thing is exactly what we want to see here, which is a great technology. Excuse me, Arrow. Go away. Whatever. That's there forever. A great technology that trends down for a while because maybe it was before its time, or the company didn't get the contracts that it needed to become a big player in the space. And then a period of sideways consolidation because folks say this company is still worth something. We think that their mission statement, their business plan, their vision fits into the greater goal of the sector. Or are we just playing out like this chart? And then it starts to go back up. And that's when we get in there. That's when we get in there. So I'm still in NNDM. My stop is just below resistance here, about 1280. I'm waiting for this thing to hit 33. A stock that is not worth it, a stock that sucks. What do you mean by a stock that is not worth it? Alex, if you tell me what you mean by a stock that's not worth it, let me know. Like, you just want me to show you a shitty stock? I can do that. Litecoin. Where are my crypto folks? Oh, patterns that you want to avoid. Yeah, so you want to avoid reversal patterns at the top. So I don't have any ready for you, Alex. But before I go on Litecoin, what I can draw for you is 2 reversal patterns to watch out for. This is the classic. It's a head and shoulders. Great at the bottom, bad at the top. Shoulder, head, shoulder. This is following an upward trend when you're starting to get to an area that's kind of frothy where people might start taking profits. You're going to get a peak, a sell-off, a bigger peak, a sell-off, and then you better watch it. It is not confirmed. It is not actually head and shoulders reversal until it comes back to this bottom line, the neckline, which in this case, in the context of a head and shoulders, the neck might be like right here. But this is the line that's important. This is where we draw a line in the sand as investors and traders. So if you see this on the top of a chart, this is a head and shoulders reversal pattern, and you see it close below that line, run. All right. Then when we're talking about all these reversal patterns like rounding bottoms or double bottoms, same thing applies. They are reversal patterns. They appear at the bottom. We love them because we're in a bull market. So there's a high likelihood that they will break out and go the direction we want. But they also occur at the top. And that's when it's time to take profits. And if you can, if you know what you're doing, take a short position. For a lot of you, that means buying puts or doing some type of bearish spread. But very simply, a short position would be buying puts. But I don't like to get cute. I don't like to get too cute. When I see a reversal pattern, I just get out and I go look for another stock that's got on a bullish trend that looks like it's going to break out for a high percentage in a short period of time. All right. There's always an opportunity out there. Always an opportunity. Don't fall in love with a stock. It's just a stock. All right. So this is Litecoin, guys. This Litecoin has done what Bitcoin just did. When Bitcoin just a couple months ago had its huge run up, it was following a big couple years long rounding bottom pattern. This is that reversal pattern, but it's at the bottom. All right. So how did we set our price targets, which is right up here? My price target for Litecoin is $266. So this is Litecoin to US dollar comparison for all you EU mofos. So we've got this sort of resistance right here. We rounded the bottom. We tried to break out. We got rejected right at this line. And we rounded the bottom. And then we broke through. Broke through, ladies and gentlemen. So how do I measure my profit potential? I go to the absolute lowest point of my rounding bottom. I measure up to the top of this measured move in the middle. Some call it the crack. And then I add that to the crack, to that little peak. And that's my price target. And look at Litecoin go. So as soon as I started seeing this hit up at resistance, I watched for a close above, got the close above, had a little bit of a downward trend. On the short term, you could argue that this is a cup and handle. Sure. There are patterns within patterns. That's why I drew this descending triangle. We broke through resistance on the descending triangle, but the broader pattern that we're looking at is resolution of this double bottom. Targeting, in the 268 handle, 267, and it's on its way. Let's look at the health of the trend. This thing's going. Using the Bollinger Band to look at the health of the trend, we can see that it's staying heavily around 2 standard deviations above the 20-day moving average. We are looking strong. We are marching toward our price target with Litecoin.